So you're looking for a new tabletop role-playing game system for you and your friends. Maybe you're growing tired of the old faithful, or maybe you're looking to dip your toe into a new system, but don't want to stray too far from what you already know. Or maybe you're here from the Heimgard announcement video and want to learn about the system that we'll be running for our stream. I don't know if that video is up yet. Is it up yet? One of the main reasons I see people struggling to try new systems is because the idea of trying to learn a whole new system can feel kind of daunting. Thinking of all the new rules, mechanics, and stat blocks can turn people off trying out new systems that could be a lot more fun and exciting for them. And while this is understandable, know that most TTRPG systems do run on a pretty similar core mechanic. And once you have that core mechanic solidified in your brain, picking up new systems is relatively easy. But if you are coming from the world of Dungeons & Dragons and looking for a system with a similar flavor, albeit with a few more interesting notes, allow me to introduce you to the Age system. The Age system is a broad and varied system with multiple books and settings under its banner. These include Modern Age, Dragon Age, Blue Rose, The Expanse, and Fantasy Age, which is the main system that I run and the system we are using for the Echoes of Ragnarok stream. I've been running Fantasy Age for a very long time, and there are a few details about it that I really love. I've even run it at PAX a few times, and it's a very interesting system that is quite easy to pick up, especially if you're coming from systems such as D&D. So let's go over the core mechanics. The core mechanics for Fantasy Age are fairly basic TTRPG tropes with a few small details that, in my mind, set it apart vastly. Character creation starts fairly basic. You pick your race, background, and class, which altogether give you your character's stats, talents, and focuses. If you're familiar with other TTRPGs, your character's stats should be fairly recognizable with only a few differentiating terms between systems. Compared to other systems, the starting classes for most Age systems may seem a little lackluster. For example, in Fantasy Age, the base starting classes are Warrior, Mage, Rogue, and Envoy. But the real meat for character creation and customization in the Age system comes from a character's talents and focuses. Focuses are essentially your character's specialties in certain areas, such as driving, bartering, or the use of certain weapons, and they are almost always a +2 to that role. Talents grant your character special abilities in certain situations or with certain equipment. For example, the dual weapon style talent allows you to add a +1 to your attack or defense while dual wielding, or the contacts talent allows you to make a contact out of an NPC with a successful communications test. And there are a plethora of talents to choose from, allowing you to build the character that you want to your specifications. Speaking of which, a special kind of talent that your character will gain access to throughout their journey is what's called a specialization, which is exactly what it sounds like. These are specialty classes to add on to your base class to spice them up a bit more. Specializations in Fantasy Age include things like Berserker for warriors, Assassin for rogue, and Elementalist for mages, but there are also a number of specializations that are available to multiple classes, making a lot of those multi-classes that you might have been dreaming of that don't work in other systems work in Fantasy Age. But with character creation out of the way, let's talk about dice. The Age system uses 3 6-sided dice, or 3d6, as its core dice. Note that you need to be able to tell one of these dice from the other two, so just make sure that it's another color or design or something. This is a special dice in the Age system known as a stunt, drama, or dragon die, depending on the setting that you're running. When you make a skill check or attack roll in the Age system, you roll all 3d6, add the results together, then add any bonuses or subtract any penalties that you may have at the time. Bonuses to your roll are generally received from your character's ability score and focuses, while penalties are usually results of your environment and will be specified by your GM. Oh, and real quick for all my D&D people, GM means Game Master. It's a term that predates DM, and it means that I run more systems than D&D. Once you have your roll, bonuses, and penalties calculated, you let your GM know the result, and they will continue with your epic success or crushing failure, whichever it may be. Now, as with most systems, the threshold for success in skill checks for the Age system is generally set within the GM's head depending on the complexity of the task, though there are tools and charts within the rulebook to help you set such thresholds. But in combat, a character's defensive abilities are split into 2 categories: armor and defense. Defense is how difficult a character is to hit. When an enemy rolls an attack against you, its attack roll is compared to your defense rating. If the attack result matches or exceeds your defense rating, the attack hits. If it is any lower, it misses. Simple, right? Armor, on the other hand, is basically a soak. If an attack hits and deals damage, unless the damage is considered piercing or negating armor altogether, You subtract your armor's value from the damage total, and then subtract the remaining damage from your health pool. Make sense? Defense stops you getting hit, armor stops you from taking all the damage. Simple. Now all this sounds very bread and butter. Dragyn, where is this spice you told me about? Well, remember that stunt dice I mentioned before? In the age system, if you roll a successful skill check or attack roll and you roll doubles on any of the 3 dice, you have performed a stunt. When this happens, the number that is shown on your stunt dice denotes the amount of stunt points or SP you have to spend. Now stunts range from combat stunts, such as hitting 2 targets within range, magic stunts, such as increasing a spell's power, roleplay stunts, such as swaying a crowd, or exploration stunts that grant you bonuses on your future rolls, thus providing some very refreshing control and agency for your players during crit moments. In addition to this, the stunt dice can also be used during certain skill check encounters to keep track of progress and build tension. This is done by noting and adding up the result of the stunt die from every successful check your players make during the encounter, and once that number goes past a certain threshold, the encounter is over. Also, if you want to add an evil little twist to this idea, if the skill check encounter you're running is in any way sensitive, something like keeping a dying character alive or navigating a particularly tense diplomatic meeting, also keep track of the result on the stunt die from every unsuccessful check your characters make. And if that result hits the threshold before your successful checks do, all hell breaks loose. So why do I love this system? 1. It's highly customizable. Though the starting classes may seem fairly generic, through this system's focuses, talents, and specializations, you can really tailor your character to whatever you want, even opening up the doors to a few of those character tropes that don't quite work in other systems. The ability to pick up a new focus every 2 levels and having 2 specializations by level 20 means your character will grow relatively quickly into the ideal character for you. 2. The stunt system feels fresh and exciting. The ability for your players to choose stunts during play adds wonderful flavor and creativity to your gameplay, and opens up a whole new avenue for homebrewing in this system. Rather than crit checks just being you doing the thing the best you can or adding extra damage to your roll, the stunt system allows you and your players to choose how you use your success, giving players more agency in-game and creating far more memorable moments. And now for a few things I think need work. The hit point swell or bloat. In Fantasy Age, characters start with HP equal to their constitution, plus 1d6, plus 20 to 30 depending on their class. They then gain health equal to 1d6 plus their constitution from levels 2 to 10, and then just their constitution from levels 11 to 20. Now this may not sound like much, but when added to a character's strengths, focuses, talents, and armor, this can easily lead to a very overpowered party, making balancing fights and building tension highly difficult. The second thing I think needs a little tweaking is the magic system. While there's nothing particularly wrong with the magic system in Fantasy Age, when coming from other bigger systems, it can feel a tad underwhelming. Even as a mage, a character's access to spells, even at earlier levels, may seem fairly limited, and on top of that, a lot of the spells seem a little underwhelming at times. But really I feel that is mostly a comparison issue, and once you get into the game and start building up your character and their repertoire of spells, I'm sure it'll be fine. But at the end of the day, despite its flaws, Age still stands as one of my absolute favorite systems, and will be the main system for my Echoes of Ragnarok stream. If you're looking for a system that feels not that far from something that you probably already know, with a few new interesting mechanics, I would highly recommend you try the Age system. There'll be links in the description. A quick but nonetheless huge thank you to my Ko-fi supporters. I could not do this content without you. Thank you all so much. If you'd like to support me in my creative endeavors, including my books, content, Heimgard setting, and Echoes of Ragnarok stream, please go and subscribe to my Ko-fi page. It helps more than you know. Also, if you like the look of the Age system and want to see it in action, or you like the idea of dystopian Vikings in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, be sure to catch our Echoes of Ragnarok stream. This is our first actual play stream in my new homebrew setting of Heimgard. You can find the announcement video for that here. But with that, I hope you check out the Age system, and until next time, have a good one, y'all.